Welcome again to our series of brief video tutorials on finding, writing, and citing. You might recall that in the opening video we distinguished 4 basic types of documents you will likely encounter and have to reference in your dissertation. Although there are scores more document types, those you will most often need to reference will be the monographic book, an article in a periodical, an individual chapter of an edited or compiled book, and the paper published in conference proceedings. In this video, we will cover in more detail how to reference a book. Both in your in-text citation and in your list of references or bibliography. As mentioned in the introductory video, when we say book, in this context we are speaking of one or more volumes that taken together make up a single narrative or argument. Think once upon a time until the end, and everything in between being referenced in its entirety. For a monographic example, we'll take the 3rd edition of Martin Stopford's Maritime Economics, published in 2009. For purposes of illustration, we will demonstrate using the physical hard copy version, but the data needed for citing it digitally, which we will cover elsewhere in this series, are essentially the same. Do not take your information from the book cover, the spine, or the headings at the top of the pages. These could differ from the authoritative source of information, which is the title page. As you can see in our Stopford example, the title page tells you the title of the book, the author, the edition, and the name of the publishing company and place of publication. The only other piece of information we require is the year of publication, which we can find on the reverse side of the title page, also called the verso. Before we demonstrate how a book citation should appear, we want to remind you to use a reference management tool like RefWorks or EndNote. It will make keeping track of your references much easier and save you a lot of typing. For the demonstration today, we will be using RefWorks. The specific workings of RefWorks will be covered in another video. For present purposes, we note that reference managers come with the option of choosing a reference or document type, and offer the data fields appropriate for that type. In the case of a monographic book, the basics are the title, the author, year of publication, number of edition, when given, the publisher, and the place of publication. There are other fields that you can add when circumstances warrant, but the fields shown are the minimum required for referencing a book. Be sure to look up the APA standards for capitalization and abbreviation and enter the data accordingly. While it might seem a little troublesome at first, the advantage of putting your bibliographic information in a reference management tool is that it becomes reusable with no extra typing. If you enter the data correctly, you can automatically generate a correctly formatted citation. When generating a citation, be sure to choose APA 6th edition. At this point, just copy and paste the citation in the appropriate place in your text. You will also want to paste in the page number or numbers where you obtained the quote, fact, or idea that you are referencing. You'll notice when referencing within the text, we use an abbreviated citation, just enough to distinguish this specific work from the other works you cite. The reader can turn to the alphabetically listed bibliography at the back of your work for more details. Note that in the in-text citation we have added a page number so that the reader can turn to the specific part of the book to see where we have gotten the information we are referencing. Do not include page numbers for a monographic book in your end-of-work bibliography. If you have cited a work previously in the same chapter, you may omit the publication year and subsequent references. This is the basic rule. But if you are citing multiple works by the same author, or maybe even multiple works by the same author published in the same year, there are exceptions. See our short video on how to distinguish works by the same author if you encounter this situation in your referencing. One more advantage of using reference management software is that when it is time to generate your bibliography, the software will not only format it correctly, but place it in its proper location in your alphabetically listed references. Now that we've covered the basic, in the next video we'll demonstrate when and how you cite a specific book chapter.